Mike Old, X-Force PC. Just want to do a little roundup of the cases that we're using right now so you can kind of get an idea of the differences and also the size discrepancies. So, of course, you're seeing these dead on straight, and I'll give you a different angle here a little bit later. But down here we have the Fractal Design Node 202, I believe is the model number. This one is our smallest case, and the reason you buy this is for how tiny it is. I mean, it's not much bigger than a VCR, if you remember a VCR. So very compact. It can be stored or used vertically like this, or you can lay it down and use it like, well, a VCR, horizontally. Now, next to that is a kind of an equally diminutive case, but it's more of a cube shape. This is the Thermaltake, I believe it's called the Core V1 maybe. It's a Thermaltake case. It's very short. It's not very deep, but it's a little bit wider than other cases. Again, I'll give you a side view of these. Now this is the one we use typically with our budget system. This is a very small mid-tower. It's not very deep, not super tall, and not super wide. So it's probably the most compact case that's kind of, normal sized. And this is what we typically use in our budget system. And then we also use this system, this case as well for our some of our lower end systems. And both of these cases are micro ATX, meaning they use a little bit smaller motherboard than you find in a full size case. Sacrifices maybe a slot or two of expansion, which these days you hardly need. Everything comes on board. But it allows you to build it in a little bit smaller case. So actually all three of these are micro ATX cases. So moving on to this one, this is a Corsair case. It's the 88R, I think it's Corsair Carbide 88R. So we use this case in some of our mid-level systems. Very good case, no nonsense, doesn't have a whole lot of flash and flare to it. It'll just kind of be your normal looking case. But a very good case, and one we use quite a bit. Very good cooling, ventilation. It's a great size because it's not much bigger than this case, but has a little bit more room inside. Now moving over to these two cases, this is the Corsair Spec Alpha case. Both of these cases are the same, just different colors. So we offer, actually we offer a third option with this case. You can get it in black and titanium, just like this, and you find this case in our titanium system. Then you can also get it in this black, but this red piece that you see here that's red on this case would actually be red on here. So that's actually a third option. Now coming over here, of course, we have a white case, the same exact case, it's the Spec Alpha case. We tend to use this in our AMD Ryzen kind of normal mid-level system because AMD is, their colors are red, and so it just seemed appropriate to use it on our AMD system. Very good ventilation. You've got a fan in the back, you've got two fans in the front, and of course these both have windowed side panels, along with actually all of these have windowed side panels. So this is a great case for ventilation. It's very quiet, and it does support a full ATX motherboard. There is a slider in the front here that you can slide left and right for low, medium, and high fan speed. So it does give you some control over fan speed. Now the last case I have down here is the biggest. We kind of went smallest to largest. This is the NZXT H440 case. This is the most expensive, it's also the largest, and has the most features. This case is extremely quiet. It's got 3 fans in the front, and it's got 1 in the back, and the virtue of having 4 fans is they don't have to turn at a very high RPM. It keeps them really quiet. And it also has a foam lining on the inside. So if you look at the inside of these panels, there's about 1/8 of an inch of foam. and that helps to keep noise from escaping and make the system really quiet. And it also has a windowed side panel as well. So really all of these have windowed side panels from this white case on up. And they just get bigger, better, quieter, more feature-filled as you go up the line. And that's why we tend to use, the ones down here on our budget stuff, the stuff in this area on our kind of mid-level, and then our high-end systems we build down with these systems down at this end. So I'll see if I can get you a side view here in just a moment. All right, so what we got here is a side view of all the cases. The one you can't really see that well is this sort of cube-shaped one here. It's slightly less deep than this node case here. Now I have all the cases pushed right up to the front edge of this table, and so any variance you're seeing here on the back side. As you see, as we go up the line, these things get deeper. So not only do they get taller, in some cases they get wider, and then they also get deeper as we go up the line. Pretty much the last three down here, the 2 Spec Alphas and the H440 case are the same depth. Then the 88R case, the Corsair 88R case, shaves off a good 2 inches from the depth, as well as about 2 inches from the height. And then we have this, what we call the cuboid, and this one shaves about 1 inch off the depth, but it goes wider, and it's about the same height as the 88R. And then we have the one here we use for our budget system, which you see shaves another inch off here, so it's a good probably 3 or 4 inches less deep than these cases. And it is slightly taller than the cuboid next to it. And as I mentioned before, we have the Core V.1, which is the least deep case that we have. This is a thermal take, I think Core V1, I believe is what that's called. And then lastly, we have this, see if I can get the stand off. We have this nice compact, which is kind of cool. It's about the size of a DVD player. Really cool little system. It's a Fractal Design Node 202, I believe is the model number. So very compact. And one thing that's really cool about this case is it's very easy to access the graphics card. So if you ever wanted to update the graphics card, you could do that quite easily. And you can use this one oriented either vertically or horizontally. So that's an overview of the cases we use currently at X-Force PC.